darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today and studying A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. We're reading from the original edition here on Lesson 302, October the 29th of 2023, Sunday. And I'm forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks, Willie. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Father, our eyes are opening at last. Your holy world awaits us as our sight is finally restored and we can see. We thought we suffered, but we had forgot the Son whom you created. Now we see that darkness is our own imagining, and light is there for us to look upon. Christ's vision changes darkness into light, for fear must disappear when love has come. Let me forgive your holy world today, that I may look upon its holiness and understand it but reflects my own. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Our love awaits us as we go to Him and walks beside us, showing us the way. He fails in nothing. He the end we seek, and He the means by which we come to Him. Our love awaits us as we go to Him and walks beside us, showing us the way. He fails in nothing. He the end we seek, and He the means by which we come to Him. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. And we'll read the associated reading here in a little bit. Let's go look in our text reading. The associated reading is what is the second coming. But before we read that, let's go look in our text. And we're ready for, we're in chapter 31, the last chapter of our text. Section Roman numeral 5, which is called Self-Concept versus Self. And let's pick up in paragraph 54. That's where we quit yesterday. And let's be sure to take with us today's idea. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. 54 in chapter 31. There are alternatives about the thing that you must be. You might, for instance, be the thing you chose to have your brother be. This shifts the concept of the self from what is wholly passive and at least makes way for active choice and some acknowledgement that interaction must have entered in. There is some understanding that you chose for both of you, and what he represents has meaning that was given it by you. It also shows some glimmering of sight into perception's law, that what you see reflects the state of the perceiver's mind. Yet who was it that did the choosing first? If you are what you chose your brother be, alternatives were there to choose among, and someone must have first decided on the one to choose and let the others go. 55. Although this step has gains, it does not yet approach a basic question. Something must have gone before these concepts of the self, and something must have done the learning which gave rise to them. Nor can this be explained by either view. The main advantage of the shifting to the second from the first is that you somehow entered in the choice by your decision. But this gain is paid in almost equal loss, for now you stand accused of guilt for what your brother is, And you must share his guilt because you chose it for him in the image of your own. While only he was treacherous before, now must you be condemned along with him. 56. So in other words, if you see your brother through the eyes of that you have an effect, you're the perceiver, and that you can choose what he looks on, but you still are seeing yourself or him and him as guilty, then you're going in the right direction, that you're seeing that you're interconnected. But you're not going in the right connection because you still see yourselves as interconnected in guilt, which is not real. 56. The concept of the self has always been the great preoccupation of the world, and everyone believes that he must find the answer to the riddle of himself. Salvation can be seen as nothing more than the escape from concepts. Salvation can be seen as nothing more than the escape from concepts. It does not concern itself with content of the mind, but with the simple statement that it thinks. And what can think has choice, and can be shown that different thoughts have different consequences. And what can think has choice, and can be shown that different thoughts have different consequence. So it can learn that everything it thinks reflects the deep confusion that it feels about how it was made and what it is. And vaguely does the concept of the self appear to answer what it does not know. 57. Seek not yourself in symbols. There can be no concept that can stand for what you are. What matters it which concept you accept while you perceive a self which interacts with evil and reacts to wicked things? Your concept of yourself will still remain quite meaningless, and you will not perceive that you can interact but with yourself. To see a guilty world is but the sign your learning has been guided by the world, and you behold it as you see yourself. The concept of the self embraces all you look upon, and nothing is outside of this perception. If you can be hurt by anything, you see a picture of your secret wishes, nothing more than this. If you can be hurt by anything, you see a picture of your secret wishes, nothing more than this. And in your suffering of any kind, you see your own concealed desire to kill. 58. You will make many concepts of the self as learning goes along. Each one will show the changes in your relationships as your perception of yourself is changed. There will be some confusion every time there is a shift, but be you thankful that the learning of the world is loosening its grasp upon your mind. And be you sure and happy in the confidence that it will go at last and leave your mind at peace. The role of the accuser will appear in many places and in many forms, and each will seem to be accusing you. Yet have no fear, it will not be undone. 59. The world can teach no images of you unless you want to learn them. There will come a time when images have all gone by, and you will see you know not what you are. It is this unsealed and open mind that truth returns. It is to this unsealed and open mind that truth returns. When you don't know who you are, it is to this unsealed and open mind that truth returns, unhindered and unbound. Where concepts of the self have been laid by, is truth revealed exactly as it is. When every concept has been raised to doubt and question, and been recognized as made on no assumptions which would stand the light, then is the truth left free to enter in its sanctuary, clean and free of guilt. So we're wanting to get to the place. Remember, he started off in lesson 1 with the idea that nothing I see means anything. Well, now here we're at the end of the book in chapter 31, the last of the text, and he's saying that that same thing again. We want to have an open mind so the truth can be shown to us. And it really said well in these next few sentences, which will complete the reading for today. And we'll sing this part in a few moments. There is no statement that the world is more afraid to hear than this. I do not know the thing I am, and therefore do not know what I am doing, where I am, or how to look upon the world, or on myself. Yet in this learning is salvation born, and what you are will tell you of itself. Again on that. There is no statement that the world is more afraid to hear than this. I do not know the thing I am, and therefore do not know what I am doing, where I am, or how to look upon the world or on myself. Yet in this learning is salvation born, and what you are will tell you of itself. Okay. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. And we'll sing that little portion there when we close here in a few minutes. But let's take a look at what on earth is going on today. Well, it's Internet Day, National Cat Day, the Felis catus. And you know there's 37 different species of cat. Catus is the Catus familiara. But catus is the species of our common house cat. Well, there's lots of other cats around the world, bobcats and whatnot. And it was 37 different species of cats. National Hermit Day, and a hermit is a person living in solitude as a religious discipline. And our way is not to be necessarily a hermit unless you want to count that short period of time, morning and evening, where you go into the silence quietly by yourself as being your hermit time. But our practice is to see our brothers as holy as ourselves. National Oatmeal Day. Oatmeal, Avena, or oats, Avena sativa is the common oat, has a hull that's kind of hard to get off for home use. So there's a Hulless variety, which is the Avena nuda. And we'll talk about the nuda in just a minute. Read for the Record Day, Reformation Day, and Reformation Day was the day that Martin Luther nailed up his 95 Theses on the church door at Wittenberg, Germany on Sunday, this October the 31st, actually, I think it was the day it was, but this is the closest Sunday. And that was in 1517. And that's what most people consider to be the beginning of the Reformation. So, Reformation Day. Visit a cemetery day. And, you don't have to actually physically go there, but in your mind, think about all those people that have gone before you and visit them. Tell them hi. Say, hey, I'm thinking about you. They'll hear you. They're the great cloud of witnesses. And what I liked, when my brother was making his crossing, I made a big list, and I asked him, I said, help me fill out this list of all the people that have gone on before, because they're going to be meeting you on the other side. And you can look forward to that. It seemed to bring him a lot of hope. It certainly brought my nephew Caleb a lot of hope. He thought that was a good idea, and so anyway, but my brother Carl appreciated it too. World Psoriasis Day. Psoriasis is a skin condition where cells build up and form scales and itchy dry patches. Psoriasis is thought to be an immune system problem, and it's triggered generally by infection, stress, and cold. Found that from the Mayo Clinic. And World Stroke Day. Stroke is damage to the brain from an interruption of the blood supply. And I said we were going to talk about the Hulless oats, which are the Avena nuda. Is that what it is? Avena nuda? Let me make sure I'm telling you right. Avena nuda. And oats are tolerant of many soil conditions. I found this on resilientseeds.com. Oats are tolerant of many soil conditions, but will produce best in moist, moderately fertile soil and full sun. Plant oats in early spring when the soil is workable, around April the 1st. For the easiest maintenance, we plant in rows 6 inches apart with the seeds 1 inch apart. You can also try broadcasting the seed in wide rows. You'll need about 1/3 pound of seed per 100 square feet. You'll need to thresh them, which, beat them down, break them up, get the holes loosened up. Even though they're Hulless, they still have a little bit of a hole on them, and you have to thresh them and throw them up in the air and let the wind blow the chaff away. And 100 square feet will yield about 7 pounds of oats. Anywhere from 3 to 11 is what the records say. Several varieties of Avena nuda, the Kilby, the Paul, the Pendragon, the Penuda, the Ta-chong Yin Mei, and the Tara. And there perhaps is one more variety because it's unlisted that Johnny Select Seeds sells. And that's the one I told you about earlier. But I like this Resilient Seeds. They really go into a lot of detail, and there's a lot of good information on there. I'll put the description it'll be in the description below. Resilient Seed. Along with the chord changes, when I'm doing these songs, I put the chord changes in the description below. So if you want to learn guitar, or you already know guitar and you just want to know what chords and want to do, I just have done this since I was a teenager, playing my guitar and using it as a prayer. So I encourage you to do it. It's just amazing how you get a few chords that sound good together, and then you can just pray your song and you can stay in your meditation for quite a while. I'd still encourage you to go into the silence without any sound for at least a few minutes, or at least a minute. I mean, it's just a little time where you're not doing anything, being still and quiet. Okay, I said we're going to look at what the associated reading to where darkness was, I look upon the light. What is the second coming? Christ's second coming, which is sure as God, is merely the correction of mistakes and the return of sanity. It is a part of the condition which restores the never lost and reestablishes what is forever and forever true. It is the invitation to God's Word to take illusion's place, the willingness to let forgiveness rest upon all things without exception and without reserve. It is the all-inclusive nature of Christ's second coming that permits it to embrace the world and hold you safe within its gentle advent, which encompasses all living things with you. There is no end to the release the second coming brings, as God's creation must be limitless. Forgiveness lights the second coming's way, because it shines on everyone as one, and thus is oneness recognized at last. The second coming ends the lessons which the Holy Spirit teaches, making way for the last judgment, in which learning ends in one last summary that will extend beyond itself and reaches up to God. Let's read that again. The second coming ends the lessons which the Holy Spirit teaches, making way for the last judgment, in which learning ends in one last summary that will extend beyond itself and reaches up to God. And what is the last judgment? That you're innocent. And you always have been. You're God's dear child, always been one with Him, and you are as God created you and always will be. The second coming is the time in which all minds are given to the hands of Christ, to be returned to spirit in the name of true creation and the will of God. The second coming is the one event in time which time itself cannot effect. For everyone who ever came to die or yet will come, or who is present now, is equally released from what he made. In this equality is Christ restored as one identity, in which all sons of God acknowledge that they all are one. Pray that the second coming will be soon, but do not rest with that. It needs your eyes and ears and hands and feet. It needs your voice. And most of all, it needs your willingness. Let us rejoice that we can do God's will and join together in its holy light. Behold, the Son of God is one in us, and we can reach our Father's love through Him. Okay, where darkness was, I look upon the light. Father, our eyes are opening at last. Your holy world awaits us as our sight is finally restored and we can see. We thought we suffered, but we had forgot the Son whom you created. Now we see that darkness is our own imagining, and light is there for us to look upon. Christ's vision changes darkness into light, for fear must disappear when love has come. Let me forgive your holy world today, that I may look upon its holiness and understand it but reflects my own. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Our love awaits us as we go to Him and walks beside us, showing us the way. He fails in nothing. He the end we seek, and He the means by which we come to Him. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Okay, well, let's see what we can do about finishing up our... Oh boy, I about knocked over our tripod there. I'm trying to get this set up so I can sing and not have the wind blow it closed while I'm singing. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. And that was a statement that Paramahansa Yogananda said. I tried to find the book. There was a small book of his sayings that had that as the title, which was one of his sayings. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. And I don't know for sure that that was exact his saying, but it was really close. Had a picture of the sun coming up. Beautiful little small book, but I couldn't find it to verify. But it certainly reminded me of Paramahansa Yogananda, though. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. And out of our text, there is no statement that the world is more afraid to hear than this. I do not know the thing I am, and therefore do not know what I am doing. Where I am or how to look upon the world or on myself. Yet in this learning is salvation born. And what you are will tell you of itself. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Pray that the second coming will be soon, but do not rest with that. It needs your eyes and ears and hands and feet. It needs your voice. And most of all, it needs your willingness. And most of all, it needs your willingness. Let us rejoice that we can do God's will and join together. And join together in its holy light. Son of God is one in us, and we can reach our Father's love through Him. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Our love awaits us as we go to Him and walk beside us. Walk beside us, showing us the way. He fails in nothing, He fails in nothing, fails in nothing. Totally trustworthy. He the end we seek, and He the means by which we come to Him. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Father, our eyes are opening at last. Your holy world awaits us as our sight is finally restored. We can see. We thought we suffered, but we forgot the Son whom you created. We thought we suffered, but we had forgot the Son whom you created. Now we see that darkness is our own imagining, and light is there for us to look upon. Christ's vision changes darkness into light, for fear must disappear when love has come, love has come. Let me forgive your holy world today, that I may look upon its holiness and understand it, but reflects my own. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Our love awaits us as we go to Him and walks beside us, showing us the way. He fails in nothing. He the end we seek, and He the means by which we come to Him. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Where darkness was, I look upon the light.